In today's world, we've got a lot of guys that are feeling alone and lonely. What do I do? It's depressing. Find people. I don't know how to meet people. Uh, I don't want to talk to girls or women scare me, or this toxic narrative of feminism is too difficult to deal with. I don't get any results in dating apps. I don't want to use dating apps. Cold approach is too much. I don't know where to meet people. I don't know where to meet women. I don't know where to meet, good guys, good men that are good at being men, sort of thing. And it's like this this real world story of what happened when I was 16 in this junior ranger program shows how quickly friendships and bonds can form when you spend time together doing shit over 8 weeks. So in 8 quick weeks, we formed a brotherhood and a lifetime, friendship. I know a lot of these guys, out there still to this day. Some of the connections have been made on Facebook, although I don't really use Facebook, but they actually exist. And I think one of the things, one of the lessons that can be taken from this story is that you're going to form real human connections and not feel alone or feel loneliness when you start doing things that you like, when you find ways to enjoy things that you're doing as well in real life. I think that's the key thing there, because one of the big mistakes, when I talk to these guys, and they're usually younger men, teens or in the 20s, is that they're caught up in the virtual world, in the internet world. Keep in mind, I grew up in a time where for the first 20 odd years of my life, there was really no internet at all. Nothing. It didn't even exist. Cell phones were just starting to. I remember I had my first cell phone in my 20s, 23, 4, 5, something like that, my mid 20s. Before that, they were bricks that only Bay Street guys or Wall Street guys would have, these big giant phones that probably weighed, 5, 6 pounds, or they were tethered to your car with a cord. So, I think one of the big mistakes that guys are making today is they're looking for connection. They're looking for friendships. They're looking for women, whatever it happens to be, but they're not doing it in the real world. They're not doing it in a real life environment, because a lot of these younger guys, they grew up in the internet era. Like this generation today, this is a big experiment. This is the first generation ever in history that has grown up. I don't have my phone here because I charge it. I keep it out of the room when I'm doing these things, but has grown up with a screen that's always been in front of their face, handheld device throughout their entire life, for the most part. They use it when they eat. They use it before bed. They use it when they get up. They use it when they're sitting on the toilet taking a dump. They use it at the stoplight, when they're waiting for the light to turn green. They use it all the time, and they live in this world. And if it's not this world, it's the computer world, or it's the console world, playing games, video games, this sort of thing. You can form guilds and all kinds of clans and tribes. Like, I know video games have that integrated into them because I know that communities matter to human beings, but you're not forming an in real life connection playing video games, chatting with your little headphones on, shit talking, the kids, or trying to coordinate your attack and the raid or whatever it is that you're doing. So don't think for a minute that that's a substitute, because I think that's one of the big mistakes, one of the big lies, one of the comforting lies that we tell ourselves, and the young men today are telling themselves to believe in, because that doesn't equal friendship. That's going to get very lonely. Now, for guys that are introverted, I think this is a little bit easier. I think guys that are, they're extroverted, it's quite a bit harder, but you should be comfortable in your own company, right? If you're not comfortable in your own company, you're going to feel alone and lonely. You need to get comfortable with yourself as a companion, right? I can do a couple of days without any contact with anybody very comfortably. I can spend hours writing. I can spend hours watching videos. I can spend hours playing console games if I wanted to. Project something with my hands, because I've developed the ability to be comfortable with myself. I also know where to find good men that are good at being men. based on the things that I've done in the past. One of the chapters in my book, I talk about why men should own a motorcycle. I'll get the damn book. You guys get the damn book. The second edition is available. Get it, okay, if you haven't read it. It's been updated and revised. Um, there's a chapter in that book that talks about getting a motorcycle, why I think all men should, as a rite of passage, own a motorcycle at some point in their life. People get all worked up about this. Not everybody, but I mean, I've legit had angry emails from, "You tell people to get motorcycles, that's irresponsible, and people are gonna die." Okay, but you're also gonna have a lot of fun, and the chances of something bad happening to you are relatively low if you're a good rider and you keep your head on a swivel and you ride with other guys and you do it intentionally. I'll tell you one thing, anywhere you go with a motorcycle, if you're touring the country, you will always have a friend. There's always cafes, there's always meetup spots, there's always somewhere, and it doesn't matter if it's cruisers, if it's sport bikes, naked bikes, doesn't matter what it is that you ride, enduros, dirt bikes. You will never have a problem meeting cool people because you already do something cool yourself, and you can do that together. There was at least 2 or 3 spots, um, in the Greater Toronto area that I would frequent, sometimes by myself. I would just hop on my bike and just, "Fuck it, I'm going out." My girlfriend would have pissed me off, or I don't know, maybe I didn't have friends to hang out with that night, or they were busy or working or some shit. I just get on my bike, throw some gas in the tank, go down to the cafe. Um, we used to go down to this one on, Lawrence. If you guys live in Toronto, you're gonna have to remind me of the name in the, chat, but there was one down on Lawrence, east of the Don Valley Parkway, and it was all bikes there all the time. And you just go there, you grab your coffee, you start shooting the shit, talking to guys, go out for rides and rips. You would always meet somebody new, right? We never sat behind a screen or looked at a handheld device hoping to make a connection. It was going out and moving and doing something. Humans are nomadic hunter gatherers, right? It's only in recent history, in the last thousand odd years, that we've evolved more into agriculture and setting up coastal cities and urban centers and aqueducts and water and sewage and electricity and all this sort of stuff. That's all. These are all very, very modern conveniences. Sorry, I digress. Agriculture is 10,000 years old. Like a lot of these notions, like marriage, are 1,000 or 2,000 years old. You get the idea, though. But a lot of these modern things are very, very new. But when you go back to the nomadic hunter-gatherer days, which is how we lived for a very long period of time throughout history, much longer than we have lived today, we would go out together in groups, probably hiding in the bushes, looking for shit to throw spears at, sitting there side by side. Yo, Lothar of the Hill People. Yes, Rich of the Unplugged Alpha Tribe. And you'd have a conversation, looking for whatever it is that you had to kill to try to bring back and stalk it and coordinate, maybe hand signals. This is why today we feel lonely. The loneliness that you feel is a prison that you build for yourself. You've chosen that life. People often complain like, "Oh, Rich, you're out of touch. You've got the cars, the money, the successful businesses, blah, 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 and all this sort of stuff. You don't understand, how the world works, this, that, and the other thing." Maneuver. You don't like your job or whatever it is you're doing, leave and go to another one. You don't like the people that you're hanging around with, move. Last time I checked, we don't live in walled cities. There's nothing stopping you from going somewhere else, right? Yet, anyway. That might be coming. The government might be bringing that down at some point in the future, but as it stands today, maneuver, right? Why do we have to complicate things unnecessarily? "Oh, I can't do this because of that." Okay, well, you wanna sit there in misery and wallow in self-pity and play the victim mindset, or do you wanna do something to change it, right? If you go to the gym, ask somebody for a spot. I've honestly, probably in the last 5 years, now that I think about it, even before this scamdemic, even before all that bullshit, people didn't really ask for spots. When I was a kid, like when I was in my teens and my 20s, If you're at the gym and you couldn't go, with your workout partner, your buddy or your roommate or whatever, anybody in the gym would do, chicks included. I mean, you wouldn't generally ask a chick to help you, you know, spot you on the bench press if you're doing 3 plates or some shit like that, but anybody in the gym is your buddy. "Hey, I could use a spot over here. Do you mind?" "Yeah, no problem. Let me finish what I'm doing over here," and they come over and they'd spot you, right? That's that's a lost art, you know? Ask for a spot in the gym. "I need a spot, man. I'm going for a PR. I'm this big guy, this big bad boy over here." Ask, you know, talk to people, engage them, you know? They're not going to go out of their way, generally speaking, to wanna get to know you. If you're the one that's feeling lonely, if you're the one that doesn't have a network, if you're the one that doesn't have a tribe or a like-minded group of friends, you can create it, but you're gonna have to be interested in other people. You're also gonna have to be interesting. You're gonna have some interesting hobbies, some things going on in your life. I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full length podcast, you can find that over here, that clip's from. If you're newer to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe over here and pin down below in the top comment. You'll find a bunch of useful links to my website, my supplement line, books, and a bunch of other stuff. Have an amazing day. Peace out.